Okay, we are back. My first guest tonight. My first guest I consider a friend, and he is really a most talented guy. He's English, of course. He's an accomplished musician, actor, comedian. The latest movie is called Arthur, which is a hysterically funny picture with John Gielgud and Liza Minnelli. Would you welcome Mr. Dudley Moore? Another round of drinks at this table, waiter.
Yeah.
You know, there are a lot of places like that. Now, when you hear that music, you think of a little piano bar kind of late at night. And back in New York, there used to be lots of those kind of places you go to. They don't seem to be happy. Is it coming back? Big bands are coming back.
No, it's not coming back.
Not coming back
gone.
at all, huh?
All gone.
Just gone with the wind.
This is the only place I can come and play in a little piano bar.
You love it. You love this, don't you?
I love it. Oh, God. I don't know why I don't do more of it, really.
You really love it. I remember Jack Benny once. I asked Jack on the show years ago, and he loved to play the violin.
Yeah.
And I said, if you had a choice to make, world's greatest comedian or to be the world's greatest violinist, which would you prefer? And he really thought it over, because Freddie knows that he really idolized people like Isaac Stern and Itzhak Perlman and so forth. Well, if you had to give it all up, would you rather be a great jazz pianist?
I don't know. Acting's no problem. You don't have to exercise anything. You know, trouble with playing an instrument, you still have to all day long, you know. As a matter of fact, I wanted to be a violinist. I studied the violin.
Did you? I didn't know that.
And probably most of all in the world, at that stage, I wanted to be a concert violinist.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a peculiar disease that comedians have.
It seems that a lot of great jazz pianists have got classical background.
Yeah, it's very useful. Sometimes it can be a hindrance, you know, can inhibit you because you start thinking about what's correct. But I like to basically take my clothes off and, you know, bash on a piano, figuratively speaking.
Yes, of course. That is really a cappella then, isn't it? I mean, you get really in the butt. Well, how does it feel now to be playing leading man roles?
Dreadful.
Really? I mean, Arthur's a very, very funny picture.
Oh, thank you.
It's a very funny picture.
Thank you.
You know, you're gonna get typecast. You're gonna get cast now in 10, about a third of the picture. You were pretty well bottomed out.
Yeah.
Really ragged.
Yeah.
And this one, you are really
Yes.
zapped a good percentage of the picture.
Yeah.
And you play it beautifully.
Thank you.
Physically and facially and everything else.
It's sort of something that's marinated, if you'll pardon the expression, over the years. I don't actually drink much myself. I love good wine, but spirits kill me.
Yeah.
And but I've just observed people, I suppose, and I've always loved drunks. You know, I love Foster Brooks, and I can't think of anybody else, as a matter of fact, who does it that often. I remember seeing a drunk when I was in Glasgow years ago as a kid, and I just loved the idea of a man just trying to hold on to the thread of reason.
Just...
You know, it's just there, you know?
Who was the fellow in the motion picture for years who usually was in a top hat? His first name was Jack somebody, had a little pencil-thin mustache, and he was usually dressed elegantly when he would show up at these... What?
Finlay?
No, you're thinking of Jimmy Finlayson. He was with Laurel and Hardy. This was an elegant-looking man. Jack Norton.
That's right.
And he would show up at these parties and would be just as a contrast between the bow tie and the hat and everything just out of sync.
Yeah.
And doing the overreacting.
Yeah,
He was wonderful. And Leon Arrow used to do a drunk routine trying to mail a letter once, and he couldn't get the stamp on the envelope. And I remember he had the envelope, and he took the stamp, and the stamp was gone. It took 2 minutes, he went around looking for the stamp. It was wonderful.
Oh, that's great.
But you picked up all the little nuances of...
I just went for the path of least resistance. You know, I didn't really ever do it before, except in 10, and then I just sort of thought, well, I'm very drunk, so I'll do it, you know. That's the way I like to work, rather than...
When you're that way, if you ever get that way, occasionally we all have one time or another had too much.
Yes.
Do you start to overcompensate?
No,
To show people you're not
Oh, no.
drunk, you overcompensate in...
No, I'm very merry. I get very, I get very silly and...
Silly.
I feel very rosy about life and death. And I also try and feel Rosie if she's there at the time.
That's the kind of material we needed in the sketch. It's high-class A material. Let me do this. We'll be right back. Just a moment. Oh, that's nice. Thanks, Pete. Pete Chrisley. Why don't we open a club? Did you ever think?
Well...
Did you ever think of opening a Dudley Moore's Jazz Club and start the whole cycle over again?
Well, in many ways I'd love to. I'd feel compelled to be there, I suppose, more than once a month.
Yeah, that's the problem. You gotta... Yeah,
But I don't know. I was saying to you while we were dancing in the interval, that I think the best times, in many ways, some of the happiest times, if not the happiest times, maybe I'm just being nostalgic about it, but in 1961, I was playing in a club till about 5 in the morning. I've never been happier, and I've never got so much energy out and real ecstasy, you know.
Absolutely.
So what the hell am I doing?
That's right. Just get back there and get in that little club. I'm going to read a quote. Peter Cook, your old partner, was on here a few months ago. And you did the thing in New York for what, a couple of years it ran?
About 14 months, and then we went on.
Yeah, it was wonderful. And this is what he said about you in print, and I have to read this, because people have always talked about your height. You're not the tallest of fellas.
How cruel.
No. I want to read what your friend and partner said.
As opposed to you, who can only be cruel, it seems tonight.
This is what Dudley for Peter said about you. Like so many small men, Napoleon and Adolf Hitler to name but two, Dudley has a superficial charm and warmth that deceives many. Underneath lurks a demented sadist capable of unspeakable deeds. Does that sound like Peter?
It sounds like me. Yes, it certainly sounds like Peter. He knew the real me, the murderer. You see how I stumbled over that?
Yes.
Some truth there, you see.
Is there a taller man inside lurking to get out, or?
I hope not.
There'll be a little crowd.
I have been in pain over the years.
Yeah.
But, I'd never given it that interpretation.
Yes.
I used to feel that I wanted to be rather taller in my earlier days, but I've sort of succumbed to the exigencies of fate and life, and I don't mind being this tall at all, really.
Tall.
Tall. Yes.
And your current lady friend is rather tall.
Oh, I can barely see her, you know.
On a clear day.
On a clear day.
I won't ask you what you can see.
No, I can't.
I mean, you have been, as they say, keeping company. What do they say in England? You're not going steady. They say keeping company, best friend.
Been seeing this bird.
Seeing this bird?
Been seeing this bird, you know.
Susan Anson.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And no, she's 5'11" and I'm 5'2.5", and people say ne'er the twain do meet, but we do. Hi, Susan. No, it's funny enough, it never has become a factor. You know, people say, well, you're very attracted to tall women. Well, I have no choice. Most women aren't taller than me, you know.
Right. Otherwise, it's pygmies, isn't it? I mean, for you.
I went to Japan recently, and maybe I should move there. Because everybody's much smaller. Yeah. But Susan and I, when we first had our date, our first date, she'd forgotten how small I am, and I forgot how tall she was. But we've sort of got used to it now. We've come to an agreement.
Yeah, she's a nice lady.
As they say.
Now, I want to talk about Arthur a second. In it, you play Playboy, a lot of money. Close to, $700 million, something like that.
Yes,
and you're just kind of out to have a good time, meet a lot of nice ladies. You know, the great pairing in here is with you and Gielgud, with that elegant quality, playing off of that. That's a smart... It's like counterpoint music.
Yeah, it's wonderful. He was so perfect in that role, you know, with that sustained, very cool, slightly contemptuous air, you know, as opposed to Arthur, who's just out of control.
Yes. Yeah. Then when he delivers those lines like that.
I know.
Elegant person delivering those real singers.
It's wonderful that he's been known as a comedian, because I think that's really his forte, being a comedian. Because he does it the same as he does tragedy. If he's doing King Lear or Arthur, it's the same thing.
Right.
And that's what makes it wonderfully funny.
We get a small film clip here from Arthur. What's the scene, do you know?
I think this is where it's in the morning, and I'm just chatting to him, and I'm about to begin my day, and we're the best of friends, so there's that sort of atmosphere about it.
Okay. There's a little small film clip from Arthur. Great. Straight back and forth. Great back. Trying to figure who's the straight man. You're both playing straight and both doing comedy.
Yeah.
But that's wonderful. Wonderful combination. And the picture's doing great, I hear.
Just doing marvelously. The word of mouth is terrific on it.
Yeah. What are you going to do next? You got the next thing already planned?
Yeah, I have a film called Dangerously, which is like a comedy adventure, which I'm doing in about 6 weeks.
Very good. When we come back, would you go to the piano again and do something for us?
Yes, I'd like to play the theme for Martha, which has been written by Burt Bacharach.
All right. We'll take a break here, and we'll be right back. Okay, we'll get things lined up over there for Dudley. I think Dudley's going to do the theme from Arthur, right? Everybody together?
Yep.
It's all yours.
Thank you.
I'll alert the media.
Yes.
We'll be back in one moment.